Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. This document requires Level 4 clearance and authorization for Need to Know under Code Triton Victor Blue. If you do not possess the necessary security clearances, please close this document immediately and report the security breach to the Records and Information Security Administration. Thank you. Maria Jones, Director, RAISA.
Item
SCP-835.
Object Class
Keter.
Special Containment Procedures.
SCP-835 is to be monitored and checked daily for new growth. In the event SCP-835 becomes hostile, Suppression Tactics A-A6 is to be immediately implemented until aggressive action ceases. Containment area must be maintained in open ocean due to the highly aggressive response of SCP-835 to confinement for any length of time. Waste issued by SCP-835 must be immediately collected and contained. Feeding of SCP-835 is to take place twice daily and to consist of any form of local aquatic species. Feedings should be supervised at all times, and no unscheduled feedings of SCP-835 are to take place for any reason. Should SCP-835 enter a rage state, higher level mammals may be issued as a food supply, up to and including Homo sapiens. SCP-835 has shown high levels of docility when digesting higher level mammalian life, and recommendation for the issuing of this form of food has been approved for use during testing phases. SCP-835 may be moved to a new location twice yearly, provided that the current location is no longer capable of supporting SCP-835, and the move has been approved by Site Command. Staff are to remain at least 5 yards away from SCP-835. Anyone working near SCP-835 must have safety lines attached to recall winches. Contact with SCP-835 will result in the immediate recall of all staff and implementation of Suppression Tactic A-A6. Should contact result in full capture of a staff member, SCP-835 is to be monitored constantly until the release of the subject.
Description:
SCP-835 appears to be a large mass of coral-like polyps weighing 8 tons. The individual polyps are larger than any known coral species, growing to be more than 1 meter in diameter in some cases. The central mass is roughly oval-shaped, with a very large, 3-meter diameter polyp at each end. SCP-835 is incapable of locomotion and appears to anchor itself with the large tentacles projected from the SCP-835 polyps. These are also used in feeding and are coated with a sticky adhesive substance. The tentacles are also quite strong and have been shown to be capable of damaging plate steel. The coral of SCP-835 is extremely hard, requiring high-powered diamond drills to collect even small samples. SCP-835 also grows at a very accelerated rate, capable of adding 50 pounds of mass every day. SCP-835 is susceptible to many chemicals, which causes SCP-835 to seal up and halt all growth for 24 hours, prompting the development and use of Suppression Tactic A-A6. Testing has shown that SCP-835 appears to be made from basic human biological components, with the shell being formed from super-dense calcium. The caps that cover the polyps coated with tooth enamel, and the tentacles appearing to be formed from mutated tongue cells. Most human biological systems are present. However, many neurological, lymphatic, circulatory, etc. show extreme mutation and atrophy. The digestive and reproductive systems appear both highly developed and linked, with both feces and semen being collected and ejaculated from the same chamber. SCP-835 emits a large mass of semi-liquid material several times a day from the large polyps on each end. This appears to be made of semi-digested solids, fecal matter, and semen. This mass also has several forms of virus, bacteria, and parasites, many of which have been found only within SCP-835. The bacteria 835-I5 forms the major concern for containment due to its role in the reproductive cycle of SCP-835. Vertebrate animals infected with SCP-835-I5 will undergo the following symptoms: increased weight gain, 10 to 12 pounds a day on average, constant hunger, urge to consume normally unpleasant, unpalatable items, such as raw meat, organs, grass, or wood, hardening or calcification of the skin, forming of polyps on the skin, rapid reduction in intelligence and mobility, increased aggression, urge to enter seawater, atrophy of many major biological systems. End-stage infection appears to convert the subject into an additional instance of SCP-835. Attempts to determine what, if any, intelligence remains have been inconclusive. However, SCP-835 appears to have a limited amount of awareness. 835-I5 has shown a very high infectivity rate, with 68% of all infected subjects progressing to the end stage. There is no form of treatment or antibiotic that has been shown to halt the reverse of effects 835-I5. This, coupled with the extremely hard shell of SCP-835, forms a major obstacle to neutralization. Any force capable of cracking open SCP-835 would also cause the slurry inside to spread and cause additional infections from 835-I5.
Addendum 835-01. First draft of After Action Report by Mobile Task Force Zeta-9. Circumstances of retrieval.
Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. This document requires Level 4 clearance and authorization for Need to Know under Code Triton Victor Blue. If you do not possess the necessary security clearance, please close this document immediately and report the security breach to the Records and Information Security Administration. Thank you. Maria Jones, Director, RAISA. On at hours, Mobile Task Force Zeta-9, Mole-Rats, conducted an investigation of SCP-835. At this time, SCP-835 had a mass of only 4 tons, and only one large polyp at the north end of the structure, designated Polyp Alpha. Polyp Bravo not yet being in existence. As per standard procedure, 4 team members were chosen for the initial investigation. Standard isolation suits of the underwater variant were worn by all 4 team members. Lieutenant C took point as team leader, while Sergeants L and M served as support. Corporal H, a rookie team member, accompanied the team as an observer. A standard underwater remote vehicle, or URV, was used for initial investigation. SCP-835 did not at first act in a hostile manner towards the team, allowing team members to approach and make contact without incident. URV-01 was sent to investigate the exterior of the object, while team members C, L, and M proceeded towards what they believed to be the entrance of the site. Corporal H was ordered to remain outside and to monitor URV-1 in order to ensure that the device's tether did not become tangled on the exterior protrusions. The first sign of trouble occurred when Corporal H, while attempting to clear a jam in URV-1's sampling claw, reported with the words, "Oh God, help me, help me, help me." He then reported that some horrible tentacle thing had wrapped around his arm and was dragging him in towards a fucking mouth, and vocalized several distress calls. Jesus Christ, I can't do this. Fucking god damn it, he was just a kid. It was his first fucking mission. I should have kept my eyes on him. Footnote 1. At this point, Lieutenant C logged off their personal computer for 10 minutes. Internal sensors indicate that the mini-fridge in the quarters was opened and a 5th of Jameson whiskey removed. Christ. Alright, here goes. Guess I'll just let Sarge edit this for me. Again. Cards, I still remember him screaming. He was just screaming at us and he was crying. "Oh God, Lieutenant, it's eating me. Oh God, I don't want to die." I'm shouting at him to calm down. We're going to get him out of this. And then Topside tell us to abort and they start winding in the winches. I'm screaming at them to wait. I had his hand. I fucking had him. I got the carabiner on and we're hooked together and Topside starts winching us up and we're not going anywhere. And I'm grabbing on and I'm telling him not to let go, and then the winch starts to seize up and I feel this jerk on the tether and it goes slack. And then we're both sliding into that goddamn thing. Footnote 2. Post-incident analysis indicates that this was the point where the support vehicle's crane suffered a critical structural failure. It was like, oh, fucking Jesus, I need another drink, give me a sec. Fuck. Jeez. I was like, the only way I can think of it is like when, you know, that thing that the doctors do when they stick a tube up someone's ass and they look at the inside of your intestines. I saw that on TV once. It was like that. Except I was going down the throat of some horrible underwater hell monster, not up some poor bastard's rear. There were these muscular contractions, I guess, and they were slowly sliding us down the length of this tube. If we weren't wearing the hard suits, we'd have been crushed, but as it was, we were held so tight we could barely move, even with power assist. I managed to get my head up enough that I could see the kid's face, and his faceplate was covered in vomit. Poor bastard had puked in his suit. Footnote 3. In early missions, 25% of all Zeta 9 casualties were caused by aspiration of vomit caused by backflow against the suit faceplate. Second generation isolation suits were redesigned with catch pockets, Pay's electric face shield wipers and self-clearing air intakes to prevent further incidents. I started yelling for him, trying to get him to say something, and he managed to tell me that he was alright, but he was sobbing like a baby. And I started doing some calculations. Based on my dead reckoning tracker and initial sonar scans, we were moving at about a metre every minute. That meant that 72 hours until we came out the other side, assuming that we did. But we had the air. Our rebreathers could keep that going for days. What we didn't have was the power in the suits to keep them warm for that long. If the heating went out, hypothermia would kill us. And I don't know, look it up. In any case, we'd be dead. We needed to conserve power. So I told the kid to turn off his helmet's lights, lock his joints and turn down his heater to minimal. And he started crying. He didn't want to do it. And to be fair, I didn't blame him, but I told him we had no choice. We finally agreed to shut down everything but our internal helmet lights at least, and that seemed to calm him down. And honestly, that extra 0.1% of power wouldn't have made a difference. And I think that was the worst part for us. We spent at least a day like that, locked in our suits, couldn't move our arms and our legs, no sound but the things gurgling and your own breathing and the sound of your rebreather. The puke on the kid's faceplate started to dry up and flake off after about an hour or so in, and I could finally see his face. He looked tired and scared. Look, check the log, Sarge. I think it was about 13 hours in when the kids started talking again. Footnote 4. Mission time, 14:13 from start. 12:17 since capture. Kid started babbling, apologising for stealing my shorts. Said you guys made him sneak into the quarters and take it from me as a dare. Why the hell did you guys make him do that? I mean, I don't mind if you haze the new guy, Bill, but did you always have to do it in a way that reminded them that I'm a chick? It was hard enough trying to get them to listen to me as it was. Anyway, Bill, it's all there in the log. You know what I told him. They were lies, of course, jokes. He laughed too, joked back. I hoped he was joking. I don't know what I would have done if we'd survived. Maybe I would have gone ahead and did it. I don't know. It's all fucked up. Anyway, after that, he calmed down a bit, even managed to crack a couple of jokes, and then I told him to take a nap, and he slept a bit. Thank God. About 24 hours in, we reached, well, I guess they're calling it the stomach now. First warning signs was a gurgling kind of noise, louder, with a crunching noise over the top of it. I told the kid to bring up his suit to full power and get ready. A little while after, we fell out into this chamber, big as in big enough for the two of us to fit in it comfortably, which was huge compared to the tight squeeze of that tube. Kid's suit started hissing and the outer shell started to turn all pitted and stuff, and I noticed my gloves were starting to degrade too, so I yelled at him to move and we started heading towards this sphincter, I guess? I remember. God, why can't I remember this? The insides of the stomach were lined with teeth and faces. Human faces. And they were all wailing at us and screaming, and they were begging at us to kill them. I almost lost it in there. I started opening up with my gun, started shooting them in the heads, and if I'd stayed, my suit would have melted and I'd be dead. But the kid grabbed me and shoved my head first through the sphincter, and we fell into this other place. It was even worse than the stomach. That one was lined with faces and filled with acid. This place was... well, you know what it was full of. But I'm not squeamish, Bill. You can't be if you're a mole rat, but this place squeaked me out so bad I almost passed out. The kid helped me back up to my feet, though, and told me we were almost out. Come on, Lieutenant, we're almost out of here. Let's go, he said. We moved over to the other sphincter, but the thing was... well, it was puckered up tighter than my drill sergeant's asshole back in basics, so no way we were getting out of there. We decided to wait for a bit until the thing shot its load, so to speak. If it made shit and cum, it would have to spit it out eventually, right? Anyway, that's when things started to go bad. And the kid started complaining about this awful smell, and I tried to stay calm, told him it was probably his suit's waste recyclers, told him to let me take a look at it. Yeah, there was a hole in the back of his leg, probably from the acid. I put a patch on it and told him not to worry about it, and that's when I noticed that there were these red things growing all over his face. He started screaming when the first of them burst and splattered blood all over the inside of his faceplate. He begged me to kill him. I put my gun to his faceplate and pulled the trigger. Click. I'd burnt all my ammo trying to shoot those goddamn faces. Getting another drink. Oh god. Oh, these tentacles burst out of his face a moment later. Oh god. It grabbed me and it started licking me. Oh god. The thing was running its tongues all over my face and body, over the suit. It grabbed me and pushed me down and tried to hump my suit like a dog, but it couldn't get through. I managed to wrestle the thing that had once been the kid back through the sphincter into the stomach. Its tentacles writhed at me as it started to melt. He smiled, told me he loved me before he died, and I screamed. And then 835 blew its load and I flew out of its ass into the ocean. You know the rest of the story, Bill, except one thing. When I got back to the ship, there was a breach in my suit. I haven't told anyone yet, Bill. No one noticed, not even me. A little crack on the wrist of my left glove, and I guess someone missed it at spot on decontamination, and well, I figured I was okay, right? Just hit the skin, nothing internal. And I didn't start getting symptoms right away, but I've read the reports about the latency times, and if I'm going to start coming down, now is about the tail end of the incubation period. So I locked myself in and I waited. I just looked in the mirror and noticed that my face is starting to grow some red blotches, so yeah, I guess I'm fucked. As for the rest, fill it in from the reports and logs for me, will ya? Oh, and be sure to edit in so the motherfuckers in command don't yell at me for being unprofessional in my AARs again. I'm gonna finish off my drink and take a couple of Valium and go to bed. Tell the cleaner teams not to enter my quarters, abandon the entire ship and scuttle it on top of the original site. Should be easier to contain 2 of us than just 1. Besides, I think the kid would like that anyway. Now we can be together, just like he wants. Thanks for everything.